Harris Apostolopoulos, who is going to talk to us about his journey of digital transformation. Harris is the digital transformation leader for the Global PMO Alliance. And Harris, what a pleasure to have you with us. I know it's a difficult time zone right now in Dubai, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Many thanks for the invitation. Actually, it's 8:00 p.m. here in Dubai, and today we're going to discuss about some interesting issues about digital transformation in regards to the COVID crisis, many insights, and I will be happy to answer questions from the audience. So let's get started.
And Harris, I want to let the audience know a little bit more about you, so I'm going to spend the time telling them a little bit about your background, which is fascinating. Harris, as I mentioned before, is the Chief Transformation Officer for the PMO Global Alliance. He's a visionary strategy and transformation executive with more than 18 years of cross-industry experiences. He's highly skilled and experienced in global and multicultural business environments. As a true practitioner that we have here, he has led many large-scale, complex project portfolios and programs, with more than 20 countries covered, nearly $2 billion in value and benefits associated with those transformations. He's a results-oriented, capable leader of business and digital transformation, incredible experience with PMOs, and sustainable strategy implementation. He is a master of putting the pieces together towards corporate excellence. And again, Harris, what a privilege to have you with us, and we're very much looking forward now to your presentation.
Many thanks for your good words. Privilege to be having this presentation with all of you. Hi. Today we're going to discuss about digital transformation and in principle as a game changer in the new normal. And as you have all understood, the future is digital. The introduction about my profile was an exceptional one. No further to the introduction about Jose, I'm also an active member of the Project Management Institute. I have reviewed several publications already, the forthcoming PMO guidance that will come up in the next month, and as well as a member of the PMO Global Alliance. Last year, we did run our first hackathon, and my team won the first place in regards to a change management framework, and the second place in regards to a framework for remote working crisis. Now, just a few words about the PMO Global Alliance. The PMO Global Alliance was founded in 2017, so it mainly is a new organization that has to do with PMOs, project management, and PMO as a profession. So it's a global hub connecting people, exchanging ideas, running conferences, certifications, and so forth. Currently, we're having more than 12,000 members for more than 110 countries, and circa 5,000 people have been certified on the PMOCP certification. We do run frequently several initiatives and as well as conferences, global events, and the most famous one is the PMO Global Awards. And the PMO Global Awards for 2021 will be initiated in the next month. Visit our website if you want to grab the chance and explore and apply for community engagement. Now, the agenda for today is in 5 parts. First, we're going to have an introduction about the recent and ongoing crisis, then some facts and figures about the era of the Great Reset. Number 3, some transformation strategic pillars. 4, some keys for successful transformations, and I will close up my presentation with some key takeaways in regards to digital transformation and project management and PMOs. As you are aware, transformation are strategic and structured processes for transitioning individuals, teams, or organizations from a current state A to a desired future sustainable state B. So overall, for the things that are happening right now, it's a great challenge to stay resilient, and changes to corporate strategy, culture, technology, and many others are inevitable. However, to my views, many opportunities have come into surface, and COVID-19 is an enabler for digital transformations. I want you to meet your new colleagues. We have, for example, Matt, the CEO, Susan, the HR director, Katie, project manager, and Ahmed, the safety engineer. I will come back to that slide. You don't need to remember the names. Just meet your new colleagues as a start. Now, some facts and figures that I gather, some of them are really recent ones. I will start with the International Monetary Fund that have projected, unfortunately, growth of minus 4.4% in October. And for 2020, there's a related recovery of 5.2 for this year. But as you understand, there's a lot of volatility in the numbers. So these numbers are subject to changes. Gardner noted that 88% of organizations encourage or require employees to work from home. Remote working is a new challenge as well in this new normal. And air traffic, perhaps you're aware, I have made an announcement that air traffic will not return, unfortunately, to pre-COVID-19 levels until 2024. Another key also fact is that I gathered from the World Economic Forum says that 70% of the newly value created in the economy over the next decade will be based on digital enabled platforms. So this is a very important result, taking into account that a lot of people, organizations are moving into the digital era. Some of them were ready, some of them were not that ready, but overall, as I said in the introduction, the future is digital. So you have all understood that we should get prepared for large-scale shifts in many different areas of our lives. For example, in employment, travel and tourism, health and safety, and many, many others, social behavior. We have been practicing social distance for the past year, something that is not very easy and affects us psychologically. But overall, my suggestion is to always think positive. Grab the chances to participate in conferences, exchange ideas with your fellow colleagues, and overall, try to move forward. It's not easy, but it's not the end of the world. Now I'm giving just an example from the travel and tourism sector. You see that this is the latest one available for December 2020, and unfortunately, the figures are not that good, and the projections for 2021 will be more or less the same. It's not anticipated that the tourism industry will gain the momentum as it was in February 2019. But overall, I think people have used to this new way of traveling. So overall, you see some numbers here that are already, for example, in Americas, there's minus 57% lower seat capacity. Of course, in Asia and Pacific, the numbers are much more higher, taking into account that the pandemic started from that region is 69%. This is the other side of the coin. Perhaps maybe some of you know about blockchain technologies or about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. My message here is that there's always the bad and the good side of technology. And you should take into account that cryptocurrencies, there's a lot of volatility. Now, this is a slide and actually figures from that I did capture a few hours ago, and you can see that is almost 50,000 USD dollars. The market in the blockchain, in terms of cryptocurrencies, is more than $1 trillion USD. But as I told you, there's a lot of volatility. This is just an example of digital transformation in terms of blockchain processes and technology. Later on during my presentation, I'm having more examples from the AI sector. Of course, nothing stays still, and you understand that we have to upgrade our skill set. So this is also some factor figures that are really important, saying that 50% of all employees will need to reskill by 2025 as an adoption of technology increases according to the World Economic Forum's Future Jobs report. Critical skills now, except the digital capabilities, of course, are leadership capabilities, like, for example, thinking, problem solving, and many, many others. So overall, what is happening? New words in this year are skills, self-management, active learning, resiliency, stress tolerance, and flexibility. Things have changed rapidly. These kind of skills were known to most of the professionals, but now it's a necessity. So based on this research and results, half of us will need to reskill in the next 5 years. Now, the next slide discusses about some strategic pillars in terms of transformation. So I will speak about the most 4 basics of them, and I will start with culture. Culture is very, very complex, and in some cases, I've seen from my interaction with C-level executives or other organizations, is not treated properly. A simplistic definition of culture is the way we do things here, but it's more than that. It's value, beliefs, norms, identity, you name it. I didn't start with culture as a first factor by accident, because I do believe that this is the most crucial factor in terms of transformation success, either in the business or the digital domain. Second one, of course, is strategy related to vision and mission, products, market, finances, position, tactics, and partnerships. Maybe you have seen that there's a lot of partnerships that have came up into surface, because actually people and organizations have started thinking in a more positive way from being threatened due to the COVID situation to a more survival and growth. For example, Tesla is a company that did make a lot of revenue, Amazon or other companies that have not been affected heavily by the COVID crisis. But as I told you, there's the other side of the coin that many companies have been affected severely. The other one is related to skills. We've seen before the slide about upskilling. So it's related to capacity, competency, organizational, technical, interpersonal, analytical skills that should be developed in the next 5-10 years, in the next decade. Things are changing rapidly, and as you understand, if you're going to stay a top-notch professional, you should take into account training, collaboration with other colleagues, and of course, upskilling. The last one as a factor is structure, is related to governance, decision making, who takes the decision, how the decisions are being made, if the decisions are being recorded, organizational design, information systems related to IT mainly, OKRs, KPIs. So this is a whole ecosystem that needs to work together. So based on my experience, if you are able to compete on culture, strategy, skills, and structure in regards to a business or a digital transformation and put the things in order, you will maximize your success in this area. What I have seen also from my career is that people speak about change and transformation in the same way, but there are a lot of differences. They do share some similarities, but there are a lot of differences. So in this slide, I can show you some of them. The implementation, for example, of change initiatives is shorter in time, but this does not mean that are less complex than a transformation initiative. The future overall is simply an improvement of the past. However, for transformations, things are more complex because the implementation is rather unpredictable. For example, there might be too many systemic risks that should be taken into account. Focus is not only on execution, deliverables, benefits, owners, sponsors, but as well to reinvent and innovate. In most of the cases, it's a composition of a portfolio of initiatives with clear strategic direction. There's a sponsor, owner, team members, KPIs, deliverables, due days, and so on. As I said before, there's a higher rate in terms of the systemic risks, because actually what is going on, the environment that the transformation is working or trying to be built is more complex, and there's a lot of interactions and requires stronger collaboration across the boundaries, and of course transparency. I will talk about that later on, especially about transparency, which is a very key issue taking into account that most of us work in remote working environments. Now, some change dimensions that have been amplified by the new normal, for example, is perpetual, but is occurring all the time and is ongoing. The COVID pandemic, of course, has not ended and will take many years to reach back to normal. And this is why maybe you have heard that people are discussing about the new normal. So it's not going to stop. It's going to occur all the time, and all the things that are happening going to influence each other. The second factor is pervasive, that's unfolding in multiple areas of our life. For example, our working life has been influenced, okay? Our professional life, maybe our family, maybe our future. So if you take into account all these different areas, you'll see that it's really unfolding in multiple areas of our lives. Third is exponential, is accelerating at an increasingly rapid rate. Of course, also technology, digital or business transformation are expanding and accelerating again exponentially, but many things have happened and changed. If you take 1 year ago, that our life was more normal. You could go hang out with your friends. You could go to your office easier. You could plan your summer vacation easier. But now things have changed. So mainly change defines our emerging future. As a consequence, effective leadership will be defined by the ability to navigate towards a new normal. The role of the C-level executives is of cornerstone importance. C-levels in regards to transformation should act as a role model. You have a high level of buy-in and motivate their fellows and their colleagues. This is of crucial importance. I think you all understand about that, and I really do hope that you have great bosses in your working environment. Now, some technology trends, perhaps you know, of course, we don't have the time to explain and discuss about that. I will give some examples in the AI, artificial intelligence sector, big data, robotic process automation, of course, AI, IoT, Internet of Things, blockchain technology. We discussed about cryptocurrencies in the beginning, cybersecurity, distributed cloud technologies, and perhaps you maybe have heard IoB, Internet of Behaviors. Of course, there are software that actually see how you
So, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a pause on Harry's presentation on my end. I must assume that you're experiencing the same.
strategy alignment.
He's back on now. So, Harris, there was a momentary pause there on your transmission. You seem to be back online now, so we'll let it go.
That influences transformations either in the digital or the business domain, and incorporation of vision, and mission. This is not that easy because transformation is not simple. Sometimes can get complex, can get more complex on a company per company level. It's not the same for all companies because the maturity of companies is different. Maybe the deliverables are different, maybe the competency framework is different, the capacity and capability of the people is different, the vision is different, of course, mission is different. And you know that the vision is a key statement that is unique as well the mission for each company. Now, another key issue is that digital transformation is not about technology. I've heard a lot of people discussing about digital transformation and focusing on technology. From my experience, what I want to share with you is not about technology. In principal transformation, they have two main pillars. It's the digital capabilities and the leadership capabilities. I've seen exceptional professionals discussing about technology and only. If you focus on technology, issues like culture, leadership may be missed. Maybe you'll do well on the digital part and the processes and the applications and the services, but it's not about technology. In principle, digital transformation is a subset of a business transformation. I've discussed a lot about culture because I've seen a lot in my career so far, and because of culture, there was, in many cases, great failures. So, except the leadership communication and successful service delivery, as you perhaps know, culture differs among organizations and among people. It's not easy to manage it. It requires a lot of patience and a lot of time. In personal transformations, take a lot of time to see results. You cannot see results in a week or a month or a couple of months. Maybe you could see some quick wins, as we call them in the industry. However, for long-term results and establish sustainable results, the transformation will take, for example, maybe a year or 2 years, or maybe more, depending on the vision, mission company, as well as the deliverables, KPIs, and so forth. So mind the gap when you discuss about transformation, we're going to plan about the strategy, when you talk with your peers on how you should run it. So the vision, in principle, what the organization needs, intends to be in the future, can influence culture and strategic planning. On top of that, we were discussing about digital transformation, we have the digital capabilities. Not everybody knows everything, so some people might require some training, and technology progresses day by day. For example, maybe you know about AI, maybe you want to move to blockchain, maybe you want to go back to robotics, maybe you want to go to cloud computing. You cannot know all the technologies at the highest level, and that's why there are people, consultants that actually have a specific specialization and knowledge and work perhaps with organizations or with you. However, the more knowledge you gain in the digital transformation and technology, the better for you. Remember, just a few minutes ago about the upskilling that will be required by 2025. This is a framework that I've been using a lot, the PMO Global Alliance, and there are too many factors that you can see. I will discuss about some of them. For example, the digital part, you can see the company vision. We discussed a lot about the company vision. If you go to the business model, quite important is the products and services. So what about competition? What products are you going to offer? Which is going to be the services? What is going to be the quality, the level of the services offered? As an enabler, of course, people and culture. Even if you have the best people, that they have the highest knowledge in digital transformation, this will not work out effectively if the people don't cooperate under a collaborative mindset. Sometimes it requires more time for people to digest the key messages. There's always a conflict between change and stability. For example, when you introduce new IT services, some people might like it, some people not like it. So what you can do as an example is to explain to the people the plan, for example, the IT department, and what kind of services, benefits will be offered after the transition from A to B will be fulfilled. In orchestration, I've just picked leadership and sponsorship. This is of key importance. Your boss to be someone that you can trust, someone you can talk to, someone that can act as a role model, someone that can guide you, someone that can be there for you and remove the obstacles, protect you if something happens, if there's unfair treatment, for example, or if conflicts do arise. As I promised, I'm going to show some examples from the AI, artificial intelligence. Maybe you recognize some of the applications: expert systems, facial recognition, robotic process automation, virtual agent, chatbots, decision making and decision management, software voice assistants, machine learning, and many, many others. So you understand only from that services that technology is complex and has so many benefits if the technology is used in the right way. Of course, the other side of the coin is not to use technology beneficially, but use it in a way that very few people will take advantage, or in a way that is not legal. But in any case, too many examples, I guess you can bring in your mind about such kind of interactions with technology. I'm just going to give an example from the Gulf, from Emirates, about facial recognition. So what they have done, okay, they implemented with AI a facial recognition technology for crew members so as to speed up the onboarding of the crew members, as well enhance the security. So there's no need to use their cards or use a fingerprint or any other. They just go to a screen and their face is recognized by the system. And then maybe you have seen it in the movies, access denied or free access and so forth. So this is a new replacement of the checking process. It will go as well to the passengers, but not now. Take into account my knowledge in the projects I've run in the aviation sector as well. So there's a lot of benefits out of this technology, and cabin crew will mainly experience a seamless and contactless check-in experience. Contactless check-in in the backdrop. Maybe you've seen, for example, in the United States, in most of the airports, they have contactless already developed, contactless check-in and backdrop. So even with your mobile phone, you scan it and there's a QR code and you can have your boarding pass, other key information and so forth. Another example is contactless delivery of meals and retail items. So actually this is a robot, okay, with information maybe from Google Maps or other navigation software, or you can connect remotely through Wi-Fi or other technologies, and you can call the robot and bring you your meal or other merchandises. So maybe in the next month you'll be able to see such kind of robots delivering meals or retail items. Perhaps you remember your new colleagues that I did show you in the beginning, but maybe you have not noticed that these people are not real. So this is the other side of the technology. All these people, the faces, have been generated by AI technology, so they're not real. Maybe you have heard about other technologies being used, about shallow fake videos or deep fake videos. This is the other side of technology, and many people might use such kind of AI applications for bad reasons. But overall, as I told you, there's always the other side of the coin. So all photos shown were generated completely by AI software and are not real. AI impact, I'm going to go just through numbers. For example, 5 non-IT skills is analytical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving, learning skills, and strategic thinking. A huge number, 56 of organizations already have a digital transformation strategy, which includes AI adoption. So AI will come in our life, and the services in the next 3-5 years will be exponentially delivered, and actually either way you will read more and more about AI technology and AI applications. Openness and adaptability appear alongside technology to be the way forward. Just a few more slides, and just to show you some more interesting results. Strategic transformation from UNESCO has made an effective response to COVID-19. And actually, this is the key message I want to pass to you. COVID-19, of course, is the new normal, and it's difficult for many people, for many organizations, for many countries. However, there's always a brighter side. If we stay positive, we're going to make it at the end. So there's a lot of disruption, and COVID-19 was an enabler for digital transformation. Even for us in the PMO Global Alliance, our digital transformation initiatives have already been accelerated, and we put already much more efforts and people to deliver them effectively, quickly, but at the highest quality ever. Here are the sources for the people that want to have a more idea and read more. And now I'm going to discuss about some keys in regard to successful business or digital transformation. The key thing is there should be a commitment by both the organization and individuals. Organizations are composed of individuals. Of course, you cannot expect everyone to take part actively, but if you are given the chance in your business environment to work in a transformation initiative, do grab the chance. You will learn a lot of things. You will interact with your colleagues. You will learn maybe about technology, maybe about many other things. So proper environment is a must. Invest in training. As I tell you, nobody knows everything. So some of your team, some of the people might require a training. Don't fall back on the traditional way of doing things. Maybe you're going to have a failure, but don't stop. Maybe it doesn't work on the very first try. Try again and again. Prioritize and remove obstacles. Apathy is word. Don't just stand in the corner. Have faith in a team spirit collaborative approach. Tailor transformation processes and tools to fit your culture and the capacity and capabilities of your organization. Be patient. Transformation approaches and results do take time. Circa from my experience, 2 years is more or less an average time to see exceptional results. Minimize and try to avoid complaining. Maybe you've seen colleagues that complain and complain and complain. Complain will not lead you anywhere. Try to isolate the issues, remove the obstacles, talk to your supervisor, talk to your colleagues, and work under a good faith and collaborative mindset. Allow time for people that need more to digest the key messages. Effective and transparent communication. This is of key importance. Don't hide the key information. Everybody deserves to have a place in the organization, and maybe you're going to hear some good ideas from people that you didn't think of that can have an active part in a transformation approach. Keep it simple and to the point. You don't have to engage complex technologies if the maturity of the company is not high. Start with something small and gradually go to something bigger. Now we're reaching the end of the presentation. Some key takeaways. As a summary, COVID crisis disrupted the status quo. What we knew a year ago is past. But what we can do is to think in a positive way, think forward, and as I told you, we're going to make it at the end. COVID-19 was an accelerator for digital transformations. Social impacts. As I told you, we have been practicing social distance over a year now. It's not easy. Many things came up, political, social, ethical, policy challenges, but all of us should get prepared for larger scale resets. Change management is also an important key block of transformation. It can get really complex and unpredictable in the new normal. Last, great leadership will produce great results. To navigate these historic times, business leaders or C-level executives need to address the immediate crisis, take bold decisions, and get prepared for a digital transformed future. At this point, thank you very much for your time watching this presentation and participating in this exceptional online conference. If you have further questions, you can contact me through email or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Fantastic, Harris. Great comprehensive presentation on the many aspects of successful transformations, including digital transformations. Um, of course, one of the questions that has come up while you're presenting, especially because of your background in the PMO Global Alliance and your deep background in project management, and the question is. What do you see as the most important, maybe new skills that project managers have to develop in this new world? What do you do? What are you seeing there in terms of skill developments that's necessary for project managers? And maybe even as you work with the PMO Global Alliances, what are you telling the members? What are you telling the organizations and the individuals about the project management skill set that's necessary in this new world?
Many thanks for this exceptional question. This has come to my attention in the past because project management is not as easy as it sounds if you have to take into account the results. There are too many professionals right now that engage in project management. However, result is something different. The capacity level, the competency level, skill set is different. So there are too many factors that I can think of, but I will give you some examples. First of all, you need to be patient. It takes time. You cannot deliver projects yesterday, or you cannot deliver projects in one day. Conflict management is another skill that is required because a lot of people from different nationalities, for example, remote working, different hours, a lot of conflicts can come up. So ground rules is a thing that should be on top of the agenda. Another thing as a skill test is keep learning. I've seen from my career that people that quite educated in project management, they quite stop learning because they earn some degrees. Actually, this should not, because you have some degrees in project management, some experience, should not stop learning. What I give advice to my people is just on a weekly basis, just pick up an article related to project management from the website and read it. It will not take you more than 3, 5, 10 minutes to read the article, but if you read it, you will expand your knowledge overall in specific areas. Even in the digital transformation, I do frequently read books and articles, but overall, another skill that comes into my mind right now and that came up, as I said, is related to being polite. Being polite to your people is of cornerstone importance. Don't get nervous if people don't understand the key messages. Not everybody likes project management. Okay, the CEO level, most of the people like that don't care about project management. They care about financial results. But you need to educate them, train them. Training is another key of key importance. Train your people, as I said, in digital technologies. Maybe Harris doesn't know a lot about AI. Maybe Harris knows a lot about cloud computing. Share the knowledge. Project management works best if you share the knowledge. I don't know if I've given some insights, but this came up right now based on your question that you asked me.
And I love that almost visceral answer that you gave, because that speaks of the many experiences you have had. There's a lot of theory, but also your practical experiences brings those behavioral traits and approaches to the surface. And empathy and kindness go a long way in a time where people are experiencing a lot of disruption. And if it's a common mistake to overlook those things and just kind of let's get to work. And unfortunately, as human beings, that doesn't work very well. So, and that note, William Fuller asks a follow-up question. On the project management side, there is a skill set that needs to be developed further, but also there is this impact of perpetual change, transformation. The way you define correctly, in my opinion, is a never-ending process. It's a change that's happening continuously. And you're transforming, and once you get there, you may transform again. So in the world of perpetual change, especially when it comes to unskilled, undereducated frontline employees, what is the impact of that on them, and how can you help that group, come along?
Well, what I do as a core value of mine, have an open door policy in my office. So anyone, anytime can enter in my office. And this is a great help because some people, sometimes people don't knock on the door because maybe they are shy, maybe horse is working, maybe I will interrupt you. In principle, you collaborate with your colleagues. You don't interrupt anyone, but you give maybe advice. Maybe someone has a severe problem. But now, we're working remotely and things are much more different. I do go to the office, but not 5 days a week. People have gone really nervous working through the internet. Most of the IT people, of course, are used to it, or people because they're working on shifts. Maybe people work at night. Some might happen with the system, with cloud systems, with AI systems. People are working in the banking sector are used to working remotely and program, for example, Cisco routers or switches, you name it. But for most of the people, it's more difficult. What I'm trying to do is to act as a role model. It's not giving direction. It's something that I don't like. I prefer suggestions. I don't like the word KPIs, for example. It's not key, but I use different words for that to make my team feel more comfortable or other colleagues I'm collaborating. I discussed about appraisal. Appraisal is a very serious issue because it can affect the future of someone. Maybe if he gets a bad mark on the appraisal, it affects his payroll, his future in the company, or her future in the company. Many things can happen. This is of crucial importance. When you discuss about appraisal, because it happens to me in the past when I was younger, I have had appraisals by telephone conversation. But this loses the impact and the physical reactions. If you cannot see the people, you can tell them anything on the phone. And actually, this is not right. For the appraisal, as I said, is something really, really personal. Be fair to the people, treat them fair. That's why, as I told you, I'm trying to act as a role model. I'm not the perfect guy. I'm not the super knowledgeable in project management, but I keep trying. This is my mentality. I have seen a lot of colleagues of mine, even lower level, that came up to my office and, Harris, I've got this idea. Give them 5 minutes to discuss this idea. Maybe you will hear some awesome things never imagined before. Just to give an example, because I don't want to take more of your time, I understand we're almost reaching the end of this session. Once in Saudi Arabia was working, we had a birthday party for the house cleaner, for the office cleaner. It doesn't matter about the level of the people, but this was a surprise for that person. And when you have a cake doesn't cost anything, $10, $15, but is what we thought. And this person maybe was not the key person in decision making and transformation, but he made him feel active part of the team. So keep in mind that it doesn't matter of your level, it doesn't matter of your mentality, it doesn't matter of how much money you make or your title you hold. What is matters to be human, irrespective you work in project management, AI, cloud computing, robotics, you name it. Overall, keep it to the human aspect. And this was my key message. COVID drained us psychologically. I'm not the same person as well I was a year ago. But what I'm trying to do is to develop my passion in project management and digital transformation and share my knowledge.
What a wonderful message, Harris. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with global transformations with us, and a very powerful message. So thank you for taking the time to be with us from Dubai to our global audience.
Afwan, as we say in Arabic, means thank you. Many thanks for this opportunity to show some different things that people saw, maybe a lot about technology. And it was a pleasure, and you've been an exceptional, and I would say the best moderator ever, a very knowledgeable professional. And I really enjoyed the session with all of you.
That is very kind of you, as I should expect based on your words previously. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, take care, stay safe, wear your mask, be positive.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Harris Apostolopoulos, the global leader for transformation at the PMO Global Alliance. So we're concluding this session now, and at the top of the hour, we're gonna have the last session of the day. And you and I are gonna have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation and a review of great enduring organizations who have successfully transformed themselves in some cases multiple times and continue to do so. They are a very narrow slice of the distribution of transformations, and they're a very complex slice to understand. We're going to focus on that slice. What makes them enduringly great? Any organization or leader can do an improvement here or an innovation there. Very few organizations in the world have been chronically consistent with their purpose over 10+ years and able to deliver innovation for value creation at scale. We're going to be looking at those organizations, and we're going to be looking at the principles and mechanisms that translate those principles into action into those organizations in our next talk. So I hope to see you at the top of the hour when we look at excellence and innovation acceleration for culture, business, and digital transformation. So see you back soon. Bye-bye.